Cue the cheesy podcast music.
Welcome to MegaFest, where we don't just manifest, we MegaFest. I'm your host, Megs Malloy. I'm creating a community of silly and soulful working moms who are mostly happy, but know they're capable of more. More self-love, more self-esteem, more self-trust, more calm, joy, natural highs, more magic in the world, and more laughter. Each week, me and my guests will bring you tips and tricks on how to make the most of your one precious life. And we're going to make them effective and efficient because ain't nobody got time for that. I believe in you. I see the light in you. I want you to shine your light. I want you to become all that you're capable of. So let's hang out. Let's MegaFest together. Hello and welcome to MegaFest number 22. We are here together in this blessed arrangement of you making the space for me to hopefully enlighten you and give you some things to think about that will hopefully make your life more calm and more enjoyable. If you were around for our last episode, you would know that we talked about the quantum physics of law of resonance and your electromagnetic signature. I highly recommend you go back and listen to that one first because it's kind of the foundation for this episode. So just a quick recap of Law of Attraction Part 1. Basically, whatever feelings and thoughts are going on in our body, they are making us act in a certain way, and that is putting out a certain vibration to the universe, and it attracts back what it is putting out. So if you believe that, then you will have some serious interest in figuring out what are your thoughts that you're having and what emotions are behind those thoughts and what on earth do you really want to happen in your life. Because in this book that I'm listening to, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, and also any book on manifestation, the whole idea of manifesting is not cause and effect. So something is causing and then it's affecting us externally and then internally. It is we are causing an effect. So we have the power internally to influence the way that our life unfolds. The meat and potatoes of law of attraction is knowing what you want and then creating an amazing, palatable desire for that to happen. You start to live with all of your senses as if it's already happened. And then, hey, bada boom, bada bang, things start to happen. We don't know the how, but we do know the what and the why. We just let the universe take care of the how. At first, I thought part 2 would be about creating the desire, but really, I think we need to start at how to know what we want, because as busy people taking care of everybody else, or maybe you were raised in a way that you're not worthy of your desires, so you just don't have any, or you have been living by others' expectations of you and not your own desires for your entire life. That is me. Although I can't entirely say that's absolutely me 100% of the time, but yeah, sure, we all cater to our parents' expectations or what our friends are doing, or stay in line with what the family thinks that we should do, or even just a broader society. All right, so MegaFest Law of Attraction Part 2 is all about making our intention so lucid. I just sprung the word of the day on you. Lucid. The universe has no question about what we want. It is so lucid. So what does lucid mean? Let's check it out. Lucid, of course, could be bright or luminous, but in this instance, I'm taking lucid as easy to understand, expressed clearly and quickly. If you don't know what you want, the universe is not going to give it to you. Another way of saying this is, if you get in your car and you don't program your GPS, where are you even really going? You might be going this way one day, this way the next day. You're never going to get to San Diego. But as I said before, as women, as mothers, as working mothers, we don't have time or energy to figure out what we really want. We tend to lose ourselves after we have children, and we get so deep into our career, and we all of a sudden look up and look around and we're like, wow, who am I even? And what do I even want? So today we're going to talk about some ways that you can figure out what is going to bring you joy. What is it in your life that is a big dream or even a small dream? And like anything else, it starts with an intention and awareness. Yep, that's right. Intention and awareness. Because awareness is the first step in change. And intention is a close second. So I would say this episode is going to come out in the middle of March. So let's just say you can start right away, or you could start April 1st and set the intention for the month of April. You are going to pay attention to what you want, girl. And even really, if you wanted to take 2 months, I do have 8 week-long intentions or awareness focus points for you to consider. Maybe you do 2 in a week, or maybe you do 1 in a week, and then by the end of 8 weeks, you have a better idea of your GPS. I'm a really big fan of, before anything else, you really need to understand yourself. And the ways that you can understand yourself, there's 3 or 4, depending on how you break it up. So step 1, finding out what are your values. And you could take a week or however long you need to think about this. But if you pull up a list of values, if you Google a list of values and take a look, just kind of see which ones jump out at you. And then once you have narrowed down your list, then you can really get into the weeds of it. So ask yourself, does connectedness feel like one of my most valued values? And then you say, if it's a no, then that's easy. If it's a then it's a maybe. But some of these are going to be a hell yeah. And really, I would pick maybe like 5 top values, because for a busy woman who's juggling a lot of priorities, if you have your values intact, you don't have to weigh pros and cons or, ask 50 people for their feedback. Checking in with your values is a great way to help you make decisions, and even big decisions, quickly. Number 2, it is so important for us to really identify our strengths. Now, there are so many strengths tests out there. I am personally a fan of the Clifton's Strengths Finder because it's only $20. It takes like less than 30 minutes. When I received my top 5 Clifton strengths, they're words or concepts, right? Like connectedness, winning others over, empathy, positive, and then a ranger. And they'll give you descriptions and what it translates to. But I tell you, I felt such a sense of pride and ownership when I got my top 5 values back. It really helped me in the way that I didn't have to be like, oh, well, I could be better at this. It was like, no, I am good at these things, and I can be proud of that. And I can let those areas of my life shine. Because really, all we're trying to do is live up to our potential, right? If that's the only goal, is to live up to our potential, then let's find out, what areas do we have potential in? What ways do we excel? Because let these be the engine, the driving force of our life going forward. Number 3, find out what brings you joy. Oh my gosh, the amount of moms I talk to who don't even know what brings them joy anymore feels so defeating. I feel so bad for moms who just have they say, oh, I just don't even know what makes me happy anymore. Like, girl, that sucks. We gotta help that out. Because again, we're so busy taking care of everybody else that we forget, what does even bring me joy? How would I spend a day if I had a day to myself? And not just the big things, but little things that bring you joy. Because when we have an awareness, and then we can have the intention to bring more of that into our life. So for me, I'm very aware that hot tea brings me joy. So I try to have some hot tea every day. And you can really just pay attention to what doesn't feel good when you're doing it, and then what it just makes you feel so free and like in the flow zone. Sometimes I know as moms, we don't even have that space to kind of figure out, what would I do with 2 hours to myself? And you're like, I don't even have 2 hours to myself. It's so hard. It really is so hard. So, start wherever you can. Make the joys in your life so lucid, so clear to you what they are. And then you will, once you make your joy muscle a little bit stronger, you'll start to notice other things that bring you joy. And oh my gosh, we could just be joying out all day, because you're allowed to do that. Did you know? You're allowed to experience way more joy. No judgments on the amount of joy you're having right now, but you could be having more joy. And then week 4, you could really become aware of your limiting beliefs. And this is like a whole lifetime of work could be done in this area. But let's just take a week and see, where are my limiting beliefs? And if you notice your brain telling you something, and sometimes we don't even notice that our brain is telling us a limiting belief, but just make that intention to be aware of your limiting beliefs. Like, I know I've said this before, but I'll just bring it up again. I had the most major limiting belief and basic limiting belief that I didn't even know I had until I went to a very intense 3-day, 12 hours a day of Tony Robbins. And I realized that I had been telling myself my whole life, you can't do that. God, what a horrible thing to be telling myself. And I didn't even realize that it was on just auto loop in the background. When we can become aware of these things, then awareness is the first key to change. Yes, you could do it. All right, so those are sort of foundational awarenesses and intentions. And, like strengths and values, those are kind of things you could figure out in like a week. What brings you joy? Maybe that, you want to always have a list of things that bring you joy. And limiting beliefs, well, I tell you, that could be a lifetime of work too. But to initially become aware of them, let's just say, give it a week. Okay, now you've got that foundation. So here are 4 steps to figuring out, what the hell do I want? Which is step 2 of 3 in manifesting, okay? Oh, wait, I didn't use the word of the day. What was that? Wow, this episode is awesome. I'm just going to call a quick TO to tell you about Nutrition with Megs. It's a body positive nutrition mentoring so that you can optimize your physique, whatever that means for you. So if you started this year thinking, I've got a couple pounds I need to lose, and you haven't done it so far, and you're not sure how you're going to do it, this help I'm offering is for you. I know we're all curious beings, so take a look at the link in the bio, and that should give you more information. Losing fat is a science, but habit formation, that is a whole nother story. So I'm here to hold your hand, pat your back, cheer for you, and lead the way. All right, I better get back to that episode. I'll see you in the show notes. Here are 4 ways that you can figure out what you want. What's your destination? Maybe it's a journal prompt, or maybe it's you put it up as a Post-it note around your house where you frequent, like your mirror, your bathroom mirror, or maybe you set a reminder on your phone every once in a while to think about this thought. What don't I want? Hey, let's just start there. What don't you want? And sometimes we can easily identify what we don't want, and then we can turn it on its head and say what you do want. So there you go. That's one way to narrow down what you want. How do I know what I want? Step 2. What makes you jealous? Now, this one I find to be very helpful. It's not a comfortable feeling, but if you are seeing someone do something and you are thinking to yourself, hey, if they could do that, I could totally do that. Or like you see a happy family at dinner and you're like, I really want that. Like, God, my situation is so whatever you think it is, and theirs isn't, and I want that. So I often use like jealousy and that feeling of wanting as an indicator for what I want in my life. Now, the feeling's going to pop up and then it's going to disappear if you don't write it down. So I would say keep a journal, keep the notes app on your phone. I use that, and I just keep a running tally of things. And you always have your phone with you, so it's easy to write down. You could email yourself the topic, like what I want, or setting my GPS. Part 3 of finding out what you want. This idea came from my business mastermind group called Mind Your Business. Posed the question out to the group, like, how do you figure out what you want? And they came back with some really great ideas. This one came from one of our leaders. Her name is Kate, and her Instagram handle is Work Well with Kate. And she said, dreaming big is good, but, why don't we just dream small for a minute? Even something like, does it bring you joy? Do you want to always be able to order an appetizer and a dessert? Like, yes, I want a show on HBO, but I want to be able to order the fish of the day every day and not even think twice about it. And it doesn't always have to be at a restaurant, but, I want to be able to get gel nail every week and have cute little short red nails. So if that to you is wearing the crown on your head and something that is a big, small dream for you, it's important to you, it brings you so much joy, then I would put that on your list too, because those are the things that are really going to matter to you, right? Okay, yes, I would like to have a private jet, but let's just start at the gel nail, okay? And then the fourth idea for figuring out what you want, this one came from, I'm going to say, our very own, because she was our guest on episode 4, our very own Bear Man, where you ask yourself, do I want this or do I want this? Or it could be, do I want this? And then it's a yes or no question. This requires a little bit more of mind-body intuition connection, but if you are one who feels things in your body, like Manessa on episode 9 with her magic asshole, you will know if your body is telling you this is a hell yes, or this is like, you know what I mean? I don't even have to put words to that, but you know that feeling. And if you can really just, it's quite literally a gut check. And check in with your gut and just say, God, am I feeling like free and light by this? Or am I feeling like tense and gravity is weighing me down by this? And that is an easy way to find out what you want. So my friend, here's the recap. Setting an intention to figure out what you want more of in your life is the first step in getting more of what you want in your life. It's always a good idea to start with a foundation of finding out, what are your values? What are your strengths? What brings you joy? And this feels like a bigger undertaking, but what are your limiting beliefs? And then once you have those things as your foundation, or simultaneously, you can begin to journal on and think about and take notes, document these data points of what don't you want? What makes you jealous? What are your small dreams? Like as a child, if you could do this, you would feel like you made it. And then running things through a gut check. Do I want this? Yes. Do I feel good or do I feel bad? No. How does my gut feel? So listening to your body. Let your body and your intuition lead you. God, unfortunately, these things do not become lucid. They don't become lucid in just one sitting. I wish I could just sit down and say, this is what I want to manifest. Ta-da! And then get to it. But it can become so complicated to kind of unravel and sort of let your onion, peel back the layers. So I would say give yourself some grace with this. Look for the data points, collect the data points. And by that, I mean, set an intention to become aware of these things. Set Post-it notes around your house or your car or your desk, or set an alarm on your phone to remind you to think about these things every once in a while. And then slowly, you will begin to find out, what the heck do you want? So listen, in this next week, can we make an effort to pay attention to these things? And then next week, I'll be back here with Law of Attraction Part 3 to talk about how do we cultivate a desire. Because we know that our thoughts, like what we want, is an electrical current. And then our desire, which comes in our heart, is a magnet. Together we have the what and the why. We don't need to figure out the how. You just leave that up to your spirit guides, the universe. You leave it up to God, and amazing things are going to start happening. So my friend, thank you for being here with me. Thank you for listening. I am just so appreciative of you. I hope that this episode was lucid. And I hope that you put this information to work, because together we don't just have to manifest. We can megafest.